I'll tell you who's next. Ashley Holmes is our next guest of Fempreneur Coach Connection. And she's talking about going beyond the physical aspects of infertility and conception. She's a holistic fertility coach who helps women struggling with infertility to connect mind, body, and spirit in order to release energy blocks to conceive with ease. This episode may be triggering for some of our audience. I understand that. I wanted to make sure that I'm super sensitive to everyone in all stages of their fertility journey. But I will say I'm happy to hear more about the holistic approach and practices of conceive since I am TTC trying to conceive at 35. And I hope you will join in this discussion. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wanted something more? More in business, home life, relationship life? Say word if you agree. Word. In 2019, I created a business for coaches to market in this wacky way, virtual events, all with a 7 to 7 job. I'm a full-time nurse, by the way. And like you, there were just not enough hours in the day. My partner was feeling alone, and generally, this wasn't fun anymore. But then I realized I needed to build myself back up, mind, body, soul, and even my business. So I created a show that does just that, interviewing all types of coaches, life, wellness, fertility, career, financial, wealth, and business. Join me on my journey with some of the best coaches who want to empower other coaches to live their best lives and build businesses that fulfill them. My name is Nicole Beatty, and this is Fempreneur Coach Connection. Welcome to the show, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk with you because, as our listeners know, I personally love having people on the show that I got questions for, and I want some coaching of my own. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say because this is not talking about that, the actual conception, like the egg with the sperm on this time. We're talking about something a little different here, which I'm excited to hear more about and how this is going to help me on my journey to conceive. So I'm excited.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it's so much and so empowering to bring that inward and think of all the things that are in your control and that you can do for yourself on your journey. And, taking the locus of control from external to internal and just moving from that place.
Absolutely. So tell me what an holistic fertility approach is because I want to make sure I understand that before we go into talking about what it is you do and the strategies and tips you have for our listeners who may be in that TTC, which again I didn't know all these different words, and so like I was like, I just thought you got pregnant, isn't that right? But
Yeah.
now I'm realizing it's a whole world, and I'm interested to know what is holistic fertility.
To me, and why I have embodied this both with fertility and in all areas in my life is because it's truly coming back to your true nature and honoring yourself and what your body needs. So every body is unique and different, and learning how to fuel it and giving it all the things that are unique to you that serve you best with how you came into this world, because we all came into this world differently. So
Yeah.
it's working with your constitution and how you arrived here instead of against it, and just bringing all of these practices in to the degree that you want to embody them, and seeing the difference that it makes and just noticing the ripple effect that it creates in your life.
Yeah. How did you come to do this work? Because I mean, I believe there's a journey everyone takes, but how did you come to do this work?
I struggled to conceive when I was in my 20s, and I thought, this is just going to happen. I'll just keep trying, and finally
Yeah.
coming to the realization that this wasn't going to just happen. There was
Mm.
more going on here. And I took the traditional route or used a fertility clinic the first time around, but it took me years to conceive twins, and it wasn't a road I wanted to go down again. I didn't
Mm.
enjoy the effects on my body, and I didn't enjoy how I felt in my mind and my body. And so I thought that it wasn't possible for me.
Mm,
And the truth is that it was possible for me to conceive naturally, and I did, but it wasn't until I started to bring in these practices and bring yoga and meditation into my life and to come back into balance and alignment, because I didn't realize how out of balance and out of alignment I truly was.
mm, mm. Let's talk about this mind, body, and spirit connection because I'm. This is what we're alluding to in bringing practices into your life that connect those things. What do you mean about mind, body, spirit? I'll give you some background, Ashley, on myself. I'm a nurse, so I'm very scientific. So it sometimes it's hard for me to make the intangible connections, meaning like how do I bring
Right.
together my spirit and my mind? So just forgive me for if I ask questions like that, but also I'm interested. What do we mean by that when we say that?
This is truly, you know, bringing some inner stillness and some silence into your life and really getting back in touch with who you are and listening to your body, because our body is always giving us messages, but are we listening? Are
Mm,
we, receiving what our body's telling us? Or are we just doing sort of what we think we should be doing and trying from more of an ego perspective? So it's really also noticing, your habits, your patterns, your triggers, and beginning to rewire and reframe, becoming aware of your thoughts and what's running through your mind and choosing what serves you best instead of staying on that road, because where you're going on that road isn't getting you where you want to be right now. So
mm.
it's shifting and becoming mindful and aware and present more and bringing that into your life. And truly, what I learned on my mat, I take off my mat into the rest of my life and into the rest of my day.
I'm glad that you said being mindful because quite frankly, that word, that phrase has been something that's been a common theme. Not, and it's been a common theme for business, but now we're really applying it in everything, including something like a journey to conceive and other things and bringing our mind, body, and spirit connection together. So I'm glad that we're making these connections. That it's not just about business, y'all. We can bring it and put it in every area of our lives, including this. So, can you tell us a little bit more about if you're new to yoga or you new to meditation? How do you go about starting doing that? Because I know I tried meditation and my mind went to what am I having for dinner? Like, I mean, like, I really want to understand what meditation is and how do I get, because some people can meditate for hours, right? I mean, that's a thing. So how can I start those practices? And then we'll talk about like what it does for you, like fertility
Sure.
wise.
I think that there is a huge misconception and it's a huge myth that you're going to empty your mind of all of the thoughts and that you're just going to, drop into this place of inner stillness and calm and peace, and there's going to be no thoughts. And that's not reality. And that's why people give up. That's why they think it's not working for them. That's why they don't think they're receiving any benefits.
Mm,
And it is a practice just like anything else. And where I started from is not where I am now. So
mm,
initially, I needed to be listening to and guided by another voice, another person. But now,
okay. That's that
I can,
guided meditation. That's what you're talking
yeah,
about.
I can
Okay.
sit down and drop into meditation on my own. It doesn't need to come from an external source. It can come from internally. And it's just learning the resources and the tools and the tips and the tricks. There are so many things available to you. So find and start with what works for you, what resonates with you, what makes you feel calm and peaceful. Is it staring at a candle? Or is it going on a walking meditation? That's a meditation too, all on its own.
Oh, it
If
is?
it's
Okay.
hard for you to sit down, then go and walk mindfully, but it's not popping in earbuds and listening to a podcast, or, it's
Okay,
being
there it is.
mindful.
I was like, okay, so I can do that if I put some music on in my head. You're saying it's different. We're not putting on a podcast. That that brings noise in our mind. You're saying walking, but being mindful and not concentrating particularly on information that's being given to you, right?
Yeah, it's just being present for the wind, the sun, the birds, just your surroundings all in itself, and not needing to add to it or take away from it. Just being present of what is showing up for you and just allowing the thoughts to come and go without any attachment to them. There will always be thoughts. You're not going to stop your thoughts.
Yeah. That's what I thought meditation was. I'm being really honest. That's what I
Yes.
thought when people are doing that and they're meditating. I'm like, kind of like that in front of their face. Like, are you there? And I'm just thinking they're just in some wakeful sleep. I don't know. Maybe that's what I thought. But
There
you're saying not necessarily. Is that what you're saying?
There is meditations called Yoga Nidra, which is yogic sleep. So that's
Oh,
a great place to start if you haven't done meditation before either. So, it's going to walk you through all the layers of your being and just reset your nervous system and just leave you in this blissful place. And, even if you fall asleep doing it, you're still reaping the benefits, and it's getting into your subconscious mind. Like, literally, there is something available for everybody. You just need to be open to it and explore and find what works for you.
that's awesome. Okay. But you're opening my mind to what meditation is. So I'm kind of like, oh, okay, that's different. And I didn't really understand, quite frankly, what it truly was. But you're giving me some ideas there. How does that play a role in the fertility? Because okay, so I get making sure that your yoga and meditation, it brings that mind, body, spirit together and connecting. How can we connect that to fertility and being able to conceive?
So, this truly was me, resetting my nervous system and rewiring my nervous system and getting out of fight or flight mode and into rest and digest mode. And that's what we need when we're trying to conceive.
Okay. So when you say, is it a way of calming our organs down, decreasing inflammation? I mean, I always go back to the physical. So I'm sorry, Ashley. So in doing that and calming ourselves physically, things happen, align within us that makes the conception process physically easier or more readily able to happen.
Exactly. It's nourishing and nurturing all of you. And when you add in some Ayurvedic principles and things that could be inflaming your system as well, and just, noticing, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, but make some changes. See if you notice the difference. Be in tune and listen to your body and bring that mindfulness and awareness in.
Got it. Okay. So I think I got that part. Let's go to trusting your body. I mean, this is that intuition piece that sometimes we're like, no, no, no. I need to look at the number, because I got into reading my numbers and, oh my goodness, babe, I'm having a surge, what I mean? I don't feel nothing, different. Or maybe no, I'm not mindful of what I'm feeling in my body. I just see the number and say, there's a surge coming. Let's do what we got to do. But, talk to us about trusting our body and what that means and help me get away from the numbers.
Yes. Well, the first time around conceiving my twins, it felt very scientific.
Yes,
It
it
felt
does.
very scheduled, very regimented. It
It
didn't
is.
feel, passionate and in the moment. It was like,
No,
no, this has got to
ma'am.
be done, and that's not truly the best way to go about it. And every time that it wasn't successful, I didn't trust my body as much. I didn't believe in it. I didn't have faith, and I kept losing hope the longer everything went on. And by bringing these practices into your life and making that connection and being in sync with who you are, then everything becomes that much easier and flows that much better. And you trust your body and you can sink into the stillness and see where you hold stress and release that stress, release that tension. notice, what your habitual patterns are and begin to notice them not only on your mat, then you take it off your mat into the rest of the day. Like, why are my shoulders up beside my ears? Why am I stressed right now? Like, that was me. I was in the kitchen chopping carrots one day and I was like, why are my shoulders up here? Why am I stressed? I don't need to be stressed in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that mindful piece that, we're putting into the theme of this show, and getting out of your head for sure. I love that as a concept, but what are some things I can do to really ingrain that trust your body into my heart? How can I really absorb that? Because again, I'm a bit of a scientific person where I'm just like, nah, okay, I see the number. You know what I mean? This says what it is. How can I really bring that into myself?
So for me, and this is challenging for all of us, it was literally getting out of my head and into my heart. So, you know, not letting your analytical mind be your driving force that needs proof. It wasn't
Mm,
the tangible that got me the results. What took me years with a fertility clinic took me months this way.
yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, if I can literally say, and it sounded like a little bit of an exercise you just said as you were saying it, where I literally say, I know this is in my head. Being mindful again, what is in my heart right now? What is my heart telling me in this moment? So it sounds like an actual mental exercise for me to do, especially when it's like, babe, there's a surge. you know, you know, gotta go, is it time? Is this the right time for us to do this? So I totally receive that. I appreciate that. So let's talk about that energetic medicine. So you're saying how receiving this energetic medicine will help us elevate our energy, so we can shift to a healthier state of being to conceive. What's your idea of a healthier or a healthy state of being for conception? What's your idea of that?
So truly, I think we don't realize how much the decisions and the choices that we make each and every day affect what happens down the road. So truly, what you do right now affects the quality of the egg that is released 3 to 4 months from now. So
Mm,
everything that you are thinking, eating, you know, everything, the way you're moving, all of that is affecting what is happening down the road. So it's really, you know, being mindful of that and saying, okay, I'm going to commit. I'm going to take this time for me, and I'm going to do everything possible to know that my mind, body, and spirit are in their best and optimal state of being for conception. And it doesn't have to be a forever thing, but it can be. And when, for me, it's just there's no going back. Once something is seen and felt and embodied, there's no other way for me to live.
yeah. So as far as this energetic medicine, excuse me, again, energetic medicine, tell me what that medicine is. So again, are we talking about that mind body connection, having the holistic practices? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So my one-to-one program is customized for each woman for their cycle and where they're at in their cycle.
Mhm.
So if you get your period, and no one ever wants to get their period when they're trying to
Yeah,
conceive,
yeah.
I'm going to give you Reiki, and I'm going to give you restorative practices, because in those times, I know from personal experience, those were the lowest times in the month. And sometimes you're not able to pick yourself up so easily, and you don't have the energy and the will in that moment to want to keep trying, to want to keep going.
Mhm.
So, you know, there's so many things that we can do and embody and encompass that are going to help us.
And no, you said a word, Reiki. Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Okay. What's that?
It's healing energy.
Okay.
Energy can't be destroyed or created, but you can shift your energy. I can give you distance Reiki energy, and it's just going
Okay.
to balance you. It's life force energy.
Okay, so you actually have moments with your clients where when they're in that period stage, because that's like what they call it, CD1. It's like, oh, like that's like, oh no, like But even though it's like it's a natural process, and I'm grateful that I have the ability to do it and to ovulate. So I'm grateful for it. But you're literally saying you're providing energy, but to restore someone if we don't have you as a coach. Now, I'm sure many people are actually going to want you as a coach, because this sounds like you really are restoring yourself, not just for conception, just in life. What are some things that you can do to give yourself this energetic medicine? Or can you give yourself this medicine?
Absolutely. So everything that I'm giving to you is yours to keep and is yours to use not once you're pregnant, but after you conceive and your baby is here. You can use these restorative practices. You can, learn about Reiki and just be able to give that to yourself.
Spell that for me, for our listeners. How do you spell Reiki?
Reiki.
Gotcha. So so when I go and Google what that is and make sure and say, I want to give it to myself. So do you always have to get it from someone else first and then you can do it yourself? Or how does that work?
It's, you would go to someone who would teach you. So like level 1 is like you can teach yourself. You can do it on yourself. Level 2 is that you can begin to practice on other people or send it by distance. And then level 3 is you can then be a Reiki master, and then you can teach people and guide them that way.
Yeah. Are there anything that, we've been talking about that you kind of want to hit on a little bit more? Because I know that the audience is listening and, these are online coaches. So we need coaching in multiple areas. And just for me, this was one that I wanted coaching in. Are there other things that you feel like our listeners would need to really connect and understand your message?
I think that just knowing that receiving support isn't a weakness, it's a strength. And when you have that support, and I'm not just talking about physical or medical support, because I really feel like this is what is missing for women who are in this place. And there are so many women struggling.
Yes.
And there are so many people that feel alone in their journey and that they're not understood, that they're not heard. And as much as our partners love us, they're not able to support us in the same way. And it's nothing against them, but unless you've gone through it yourself and experienced it yourself, then you're completely coming from a different place.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. So, I appreciate this, Ashley, because again, people know on the show, I love getting coaching myself and opening my mind to new possibilities of things that I need to be incorporating. You just gave me a new way of meditation and what that even means. I didn't know you could do walking meditation. So you're like, oh, I can walk. And we've been talking to strength coaches on this program and, doing things that feel good to you. All those themes that you've talked about, we've emphasized, but we're just expanding how we're using those themes. So I absolutely love that. So let's get to our next segment. And I appreciate Ashley for everything she's given to us. Let's get to our next segment with your best online business advice for online coaches after this brief break. Okay, this is one of my favorite segments, living your best online business life. And we ask our guests, and we're going to ask Ashley right now, what is your best advice for those who are doing an online business right now?
I think that doing an online business right now, especially in light of the pandemic, that's why I made the pivot was I wanted to make my life and my business work for me, not the other way around. And just allowing myself the grace to have my business and have it grow as my family grows. I have 3 kids at home and just seeking that outside support and networks and collaborations, because when you're a solopreneur and it's a pandemic and you know and the world is new and changing and it's just a whole different way of being, but I really think that it has made me reevaluate my life and what really matters for me. And I was like, no, I need to work from home and I need to be at home. So
Yeah. Same. Yeah. The way that Ash and I got hooked up was kind of funny because we're in a women's network. Advance is the name of it. And Ash, we were in a pod together, a networking pod together. And I since have kind of dropped, and I'm sorry for everybody because just time didn't really work right. But she was presenting exactly what it is she did. And I wrote her name down. Now, you know how that happens. You write the names down and you're like, where's that name?
yeah.
Oh my goodness. But as she was talking, I was like, I'm going to need this. I wasn't even trying to conceive at the time, but I said, I'm going to need her. I'm going to need her in some way. I wasn't sure if I would work with her or what the deal was. And then I said, I want somebody like this for this show. I want somebody who talks about these principles and infertility, because I know so many are struggling with this right now. How do I get a hold of her? I didn't know if you were still in advance. I didn't know anything. So I went to the group and the group sourced you. They were like, here she is. They flushed you out and started
Yeah.
saying like, here she is. This is her name. This is who she is. And then we finally just kind of hooked up there, which I just thought that was the best thing. The network got you to me. The network
Yes.
found you. Yeah.
I think
So
it's just been a wonderful, place to learn and grow and collaborate. And I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if it wasn't for the advance, and so many other opportunities and collaborations that have come my way have just been such a blessing, and just being open to that and knowing that everybody I talk to, you know, if they're not struggling with it themselves, someone in their world is. I mean, and
yes.
I live in Canada, and 1 in 6 women are struggling with infertility.
Yeah.
That's
And
huge.
that's huge, and but it's not only huge, I don't wanna say it's shocking, but it's like, we're like, "They are?" Like, you have no idea the people in your network that are suffering with this. So, I encourage you guys to write Ashley's name down, but keep it in your phone. Don't don't do like I did, because you know how we just write things down, we kinda like, "Oh, where's my paper?" But I had a network that could get her to me, so I was really appreciative of that. And she was like, I think she's talking about me. I was like, it is you. That is who I want to talk to. So that's awesome. So we're going to go into our next segment. Let's connect. It's all about connecting our audience with our guests. So we want to make sure that you guys are connected and networking, just like Ashley talked about with the advance. So Ashley, I wanted to know, who would you like to bring in your inner circle? Who do you want to connect with?
I love to connect with experts that are in the health and wellness space, people that are interested in mindset and infertility and meditation and yoga and Ayurveda and holistic health in general. I mean, without our health, your health is your wealth. So, like, looking after yourself and making yourself a priority needs to be a priority before, something presents itself and then you're forced to. So, being proactive instead of reactive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know that you said you have 2 books coming out in 2022 is what you said, right?
Yes, 2 multi-author books. So, I've just written chapters for them.
Okay.
So, they're with and in alignment with other individuals in the same kind of space. So the first one coming out is called Sacred Dance: Wisdom from Leaders Living a Soul-Led Life. And, I had found that And then I was presented with the opportunity. Someone sought me out for the next one, and it's called Sacred Surrender: Courageous Visionaries Embracing and Leading in Their Divinity.
Oh my goodness. What a year for you.
Yes. Sacred has been like the word for 2022, and it has truly found me. And I'm just like, I need to step into that, and I need to honor it and honor what's sacred to me, because this is all showing up for a reason. So to just embrace it and welcome it and just allow the magic to happen.
I love it. I love it. Yes. So check out those 2 books that Ashley is a part of. That's awesome, as I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to do books. So the fact that, you're like, I decided to do 2. And I'm a part of 2, and that's absolutely awesome. So, if you know someone who fits that bill, who are in mindset, infertility, meditation, all the things that could be a really good fit, make sure that you tag them in the comments for Ashley. We're gonna make sure Ashley's tagged too, so she can kind of get in there and sift through the responses. But also, if that's you, you're like, hey, I'd love to have you on a live. Hey, I'd love to have, those are the great collaborations, right? So, it's not these big podcasts or events or that sort of thing. Sometimes it's, let's get on an Instagram live together. Let's talk together, especially if you have nutrition. I have somebody for Ashley who I want you to connect with. I already have somebody for you, but, but it's all about, making those things where you can come together and create great content together. So if that's you, get in the comments, let Ashley know, tag somebody who that is, and we want to get some great people with Ashley and connecting.
Perfect. I am open and welcome to anybody reaching out.
Awesome. So where can we find you? Because obviously in our posts, so we do have posts that you guys could obviously comment to, but if they just want to contact you directly, if they want to work with you, Ashley, how do we get them to you?
So if you are struggling with infertility at the moment, you can join the Holistic Fertility Coach Facebook group, which is a community of women who are in the same place as you at this moment, trying to conceive, as well as reaching out on Instagram or Facebook. I mean, my name is there. That's how you can find me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I thank you for being here and for opening my mind to different meditations and, how that's really going to affect and potentially definitely help me in my journey. So thank you very much, Ashley.
You're so welcome. It's been a pleasure to be here. And that's all you need to do is just be open. You don't have to necessarily understand how it all works. Is just be open to receive and just watch what unfolds. And it's truly just been the most life-changing and positive experience.
Yeah. Quote that. Be open and watch what unfolds. I love that. So I'd like to thank my guests for today's show, Ashley Holmes. We love if you are just as amazing as Ashley and you have something to teach us and open our minds to different possibilities. I want to make sure that you go to fempreneuronline.com/guest to apply to be on the show. And at the end of every episode, we say, who's next? Cut. All right. So I'm going to bring Ashley back on. That was great, Ashley. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Thank you.
So for anybody who's watching, continue to watch, this is a behind the scenes moment that we have to kind of put the show together, make sure the show is awesome. So what we'll do, Ashley, is if you go to your private chat, we can go through those 3 things, leave a little bit of space in between each of them. So I can do some editing there for video, etc. I'm going to bring myself off the screen and mute myself. So that's your cue to just go ahead and say those 3 phrases. Are we good with that?
What do I need to say?
So you're in private chat. So it says,
yes.
How do you say hey? Do you say hey or hi or hiya, or what do you say?
I say hey.
Okay. So it says, hey, I'm Ashley Holmes and you're listening to Fempreneur Coach Connection. Hey, I'm Ashley Holmes and you're watching the Fempreneur Coach Connection. And the last one is, hey, I'm Ashley Holmes and we're talking about going beyond the physical aspects of infertility and conception only on the Fempreneur Coach Connection.
Okay. So just say those 3 things.
Yep. And just like I said, take a little pause in between so I can get a really good, so I can edit it.
Okay, perfect.
So I can edit it well. So I'm going to take myself off and mute myself and then you can go ahead. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Ashley Holmes and you're listening to the Fempreneur Coach Connection. Hey, I'm Ashley Holmes, and you're watching the Fempreneur Coach Connection. Hey, I'm Ashley Holmes, and we're talking about going beyond the physical aspects of infertility and conception, only on the Fempreneur Coach Connection.
All righty, we got that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the broadcast. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I hope you definitely learned a lot, okay?
Thanks so much.